the hum of the car engine mixed with the occasional rustle of the map as Michael navigated the winding roads. We were on our way to the next scenic spot, a picturesque valley known for its breathtaking views. Our honeymoon, delayed due to the pandemic, was finally happening, and I, Jane Smith, was determined to make the most of it. "Look at that view, Jane," Michael exclaimed, pointing out the window. "It's even more beautiful than the photos." I leaned over to catch a glimpse, my heart swelling with the beauty of the landscape and the joy of finally being here. But then, the serenity was abruptly interrupted by my phone's shrill ring. Glancing at the screen, I felt a flutter of unease. It was Mrs. Parker, my mother-in-law. "Hey, it's your mom," I said, handing the phone to Michael, but he shook his head. "You answer it, Jane. I need to keep my eyes on this road. It's quite tricky here." With a sigh, I answered, "Hello, Mrs. Parker. What's up?" Her voice, frantic and strained, crackled through the speaker. "Jane, you need to get away from Michael right now. Grab your bag with your clothes and head to the bus stop by the cliffs." Confusion and disbelief washed over me. "Mrs. Parker, what are you talking about?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "It's Michael. He's planning to attack you. He's got a gun hidden in the car," she hissed urgently. I shot a glance at Michael, who raised his eyebrows in confusion. That can't be true. Why would Michael— "Just do as I say, Jane," she interrupted, her voice laced with panic. I ended the call, my mind racing. The accusation was ludicrous, yet the urgency in Mrs. Parker's voice was unsettling. "Everything okay?" Michael asked, his brows knitted in concern. I hesitated, then decided to tell him. "Your mom, she just told me to get away from you. She said you're planning to attack me and that there's a gun in the car." Michael's expression shifted from concern to disbelief, then to a resigned frustration. "She's at it again with her absurd stories. I can't believe this." I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and lingering unease. "Yeah, it sounded crazy to me too." He reached over and squeezed my hand. "Let's not let this spoil our day, okay? We know the truth." I glanced over at Michael as he navigated the winding roads leading to the national park, his face a picture of relaxed concentration. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the landscape, and for a moment I allowed myself to forget the unsettling call from Mrs. Parker. "Look at that view, Jane," Michael said, breaking the silence. His voice always had a way of soothing my nerves. "It's beautiful," I replied, trying to sound more enthusiastic than I felt. But my mind was elsewhere, replaying the frantic words of his mother over and over. A hidden gun? It seemed so absurd. As we parked near a picturesque lookout point, Michael's excitement was palpable. "This spot is perfect for some sunset shots," he said, grabbing his camera. I followed him, but something odd caught my eye. A small, shadowy figure was lurking near our car. Squinting, I tried to get a better look. "Michael, do you see that?" Michael turned, his eyes narrowing. "Someone's near our car. Stay here, I'll check." "No, I'm coming with you," I insisted, my heart starting to race. We approached cautiously, only to find the figure gone. But the uneasy feeling lingered. "Something doesn't feel right," I said, looking at Michael. "Let's check the car." Together we searched the vehicle. Then, my hand brushed against something hard and cold, hidden under the seat. I pulled it out, and my breath hitched. It was a gun. "Michael," I whispered, holding it out to him. It can't be." He took it, his expression turning from confusion to shock. "A gun? But how? Why?" I don't know. Your mother warned me about—" I couldn't finish the sentence. The reality was too bizarre, too frightening. "We need to call the police," Michael said decisively, taking out his phone. "But your mother—" I started. "She said you were going to—" Michael looked at me, his eyes filled with pain and confusion. "Jane, you know I would never hurt you. This has to be some sort of mistake." I nodded, fighting back tears. "I know, I don't understand what's happening." As Michael and I drove towards our next destination, I shared my plan with him. "Michael, I've been thinking," I began, trying to keep my voice steady. What if your mother is playing a game? What if we play along but secretly work to uncover her real intentions?" Michael glanced at me, his eyes mirroring the storm of emotions I felt. Jane, that's risky, but I'm with you. It's time we figured out what's going on. That evening, in the privacy of our hotel room, I called the local police department. My hands trembled as I dialed, the weight of the situation pressing down on me. "Hello, this is Officer Martinez. How can I help you?" came the reply, a voice calm and assured. "Hi, Officer Martinez. My name is Jane Smith. I'm here on my honeymoon, and I've received some troubling information. I believe my life might be in danger, and I need help." Michael sat beside me, his hand finding mine, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "Can you tell me more, Mrs. Smith?" Officer Martinez asked. I took a deep breath, letting the words flow. "My mother-in-law called, claiming my husband is planning to harm me. She said he has a gun hidden in our car, but I have reasons to doubt her motives." There was a brief silence. "We take these matters very seriously, Mrs. Smith. Can you meet with us to discuss this further?" "We'll be there first thing in the morning," I said, feeling a sense of purpose rise within me. The next morning, at the police station, Officer Martinez greeted us with a firm handshake. "I've reviewed the information you provided. We'll conduct a discreet investigation. If this is a setup, we'll find out." "Thank you, officer," I replied. "I just want the truth." As Michael and I walked back to the car, he turned to me. "Jane, whatever happens, I'm with you. We'll get through this together." I nodded, feeling a mix of fear and determination. "Together," I echoed, knowing that whatever lay ahead, we were no longer alone in this fight. As we delved deeper into the investigation, uncovering the truth behind Mrs. Parker's actions, I found myself reflecting on her past. Seeking to understand the root of her overbearing nature, I sat across from Michael in our cozy living room, the evening light casting long shadows across the floor. The silence between us was heavy, filled with the unspoken thoughts about his mother, Mrs. Parker. I took a deep breath and decided it was time to delve into the past, to understand the roots of Mrs. Parker's behavior. "Michael," I began, my voice soft but firm, "I think we need to talk about your mom, about why she's acting this way." He looked up, his eyes weary. "I know, Jane. It's just hard to think about it." "Do you remember when you first noticed her being overprotective?" I asked, hoping to tread lightly on what I knew was sensitive ground. Michael sighed, leaning back. "Yeah, I do. It was after my dad passed away. I was 15. She became overly attached, almost suffocating. I reached out, taking his hand. She never remarried, did she?" "No." He shook his head. "She said no one could ever replace my dad. And then she started pouring all her focus on me. It was overwhelming." I squeezed his hand. "But there must have been signs even before that, right? Moments where she was maybe a bit too involved." He chuckled mirthlessly. "You mean like when she showed up unannounced at my college dorm for surprise inspections, or called my professors to check on my grades?" I couldn't help but let out a small gasp. "She did that?" "Yeah, she did." Michael's voice was tinged with frustration. "She always said it was for my own good, but it was too much. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And when we started dating," I prodded gently. "That's when it got worse," he admitted. "She saw you as, I don't know, taking me away from her? She's always been skilled at hiding her true feelings, though." I remembered the subtle digs, the backhanded compliments. "She's always polite, but her words, they cut deep sometimes." Michael nodded. "I know, Jane, and I'm sorry. I should have seen it, should have done something." I squeezed his hand tighter. "You couldn't have known she'd go this far, but now we know, and we can deal with it together." He looked at me, his eyes filled with a mix of pain and gratitude. "Together," he echoed, a small smile breaking through. "Thank you, Jane, for everything." As we sat there, hand in hand, I realized that understanding Mrs. Parker's past was key to dealing with the present. Her overprotectiveness, born from loss and fear, had spiraled into something dangerous. But now, united, Michael and I could face whatever came next. I stood beside Michael, my heart pounding, with a mix of fear and determination. We were at the edge of another beautiful vista in the national park, the sun casting long shadows over the landscape. But the beauty of the moment was lost on me. My mind was focused on the plan to expose Mrs. Parker. Michael squeezed my hand, offering silent support. He had been my rock since the moment we discovered the gun, and his quiet strength gave me courage. "Are you ready for this?" he whispered. I nodded, taking a deep breath. "Let's do it." The phone in my pocket vibrated. It was Mrs. Parker's number. I exchanged a glance with Michael, then answered, putting her on speaker. "Hello, Mrs. Parker. Jane, you need to listen to me," she said urgently. "You're in danger from Michael. He's not who you think he is." I fought to keep my voice steady. "What do you mean, Mrs. Parker?" "I saw him, Jane. He has a gun. He's planning to hurt you. You need to get away from him right now." Michael's expression hardened. He whispered to me, "Stay on the line. Keep her talking." "Mrs. Parker, where are you? How do you know all this?" I asked, feigning panic. I can't tell you where I am, but trust me, Jane. You need to leave Michael. Go to the bus stop near the cliffs. I'll come and get you." I glanced at Michael, who nodded subtly. This was the confirmation we needed. I responded, "Okay, Mrs. Parker, I'm heading there now." As I ended the call, Michael reached out and held my hand. "You did great, Jane. Now let's wait for the police to do their part." We didn't have to wait long. A few moments later, a detective we had been coordinating with approached us. "We've got her," he said, a hint of satisfaction in his voice. "Mrs. Parker was hiding in a nearby gazebo, watching you two. We caught everything on tape." Michael let out a long breath. "So, it's finally over." "Not quite," the detective said. "We need to confront her, with you two present. Are you up for it?" We exchanged a determined look. "Yes, we're ready," I said. We followed the detective to where Mrs. Parker was being held. She looked shocked and cornered, like a wild animal in a trap. "Mrs. Parker," Michael began, his voice cold and steady. "Why did you do this? Why would you try to ruin our honeymoon? Try to turn Jane against me?" Mrs. Parker's eyes darted around, seeking an escape that wasn't there. "Michael, I was just trying to protect you. She's not right for you. I had to show you." I stepped forward, my anger rising. "By planting a gun and lying? How could you justify that?" Mrs. Parker's facade finally cracked, and she broke down in tears. "I just couldn't lose you, Michael. You're all I have." The detective stepped in, his expression stern. "Mrs. Parker, you're under arrest for the false report and illegal possession of a firearm. You'll have to come with us." As they led her away, Michael turned to me, his face a mix of sadness and relief. "I'm so sorry, Jane. I never thought my own mother would go this far. I feel like I've been living a lie." I reached for his hand, offering a silent gesture of support. "Michael, none of this is your fault. Your mother's actions were beyond your control." He squeezed my hand, a small smile forming on his lips. "I know, but it's hard not to feel responsible. I should have seen the signs earlier." The sound of footsteps approached, and Michael's grandmother, Mrs. Thompson, joined us. Her presence was comforting, like a steady anchor in the midst of our stormy emotions. "Michael, Jane," she began, her voice firm yet kind. "What happened with your mother is unfortunate, but it's not a reflection of you or your marriage." Michael nodded, looking towards his grandmother. "I've decided to cut ties with her, Grandma. It's not an easy decision, but it's necessary for our peace of mind." Mrs. Thompson placed her hand on his shoulder. "I support your decision, Michael. Sometimes letting go is the only way to move forward." There was a pause, a moment of collective reflection, before I spoke up. "We're thinking of starting anew, away from all these painful memories. Maybe a new city, a fresh start. Wherever you go, remember you always have a home here," Mrs. Thompson said, her eyes warm and reassuring. "And there's something else," I added, a flutter of excitement in my voice. "We're expecting a baby." The news seemed to brighten the atmosphere instantly. Mrs. Thompson's face lit up with joy. "A baby? That's wonderful news. This family could use a new beginning." Michael, his spirits visibly lifted, squeezed my hand again. "A new chapter for us, Jane, and we'll have the best role model in Grandma." We all shared a laugh. the tension easing as we envisioned the future. Mrs. Thompson, with her usual spirited energy, began discussing plans for the baby, her enthusiasm infectious. Our little family was growing, and with it, a sense of hope and excitement for the new chapter we were about to embark on. Mrs. Parker's actions had left a void, a complicated grief that was hard to navigate. I often found myself reflecting on the events, wondering how things had spiraled so out of control. It was a crisp autumn morning when I received a call from Michael's Aunt Linda, Mrs. Parker's sister. "Jane, I thought you should know what's happening with Mrs. Parker," she said, her voice weary with concern. I braced myself, unsure of what to expect. "How is she?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Well, it's been difficult," Linda sighed. After the court hearing, she was required to attend counseling and was given community service instead of jail time. The judge thought it best she get help rather than punishment. I nodded, even though Linda couldn't see. "That's probably for the best." "Yes, but it's been a rough road. She's been staying with me since the trial. She's not the same person." The realization of what she did, the loss of her relationship with Michael, it's hit her hard. A pang of sympathy twinged in my heart. Despite everything, I couldn't help but feel for Mrs. Parker. "Is she getting the help she needs?" "She is," Linda confirmed. "She's attending therapy sessions, and they seem to be helping, slowly. She's also been volunteering at the community center. It's part of her service, but I think it's good for her to be around people, to do something positive." "That sounds promising," I said, genuinely hoping for her recovery. Linda hesitated before continuing. "Jane, she's expressed remorse, a lot of it. She knows she can't undo what she's done, but she wants to apologize to both you and Michael." The thought of facing Mrs. Parker again sent a wave of mixed emotions through me. I'll talk to Michael about it. I can't promise anything, Linda." "I understand," Linda replied softly. "Just thought you should know. She's learning to live with the consequences of her actions. It's a long journey for her." We talked a little more before saying our goodbyes. I sat for a long while, lost in thought. Mrs. Parker's journey towards redemption was her own, and while I felt for her, I knew the path to healing and forgiveness was not straightforward. It would take time, maybe a lot of it, for the wounds to heal and for trust to be considered again. I finally stood up, my hand instinctively resting on my belly, feeling the gentle kick of our unborn child. This was a time of healing and looking forward, and while the past would always be a part of us, our focus was on the family we were building, one filled with love, understanding, and hope for the future.